It's Friday Coffee with your mortgage man, Eric. And today, we're going to talk about an issue that's coming up a lot lately, especially with the influx of California residents that are moving here and becoming Arizona residents, and of course, buying real estate here. And we're seeing a number of people coming from Illinois as well. And look, we can probably spend an hour talking about all those reasons why they're moving here, right? But what comes with it is a misunderstanding in the real estate and mortgage side of things when they come here and wish to purchase a home. And this also goes to people that have not bought a home in the last 10 years. Arizona is different. And what I mean by that is when you go to get your pre-approval in the state of Arizona, you don't get some fancy pre-approval letter, right? Hey, I've been pre-approved for $350,000 home loan with a fancy, header at the top from the bank. They don't work. They don't mean anything. In this state, it's a pre-qualification form. This is what it looks like. Try to put this up front for you guys. That's what it looks like, okay? This form is what is needed, and anything else is just irrelevant. It's obsolete and irrelevant. This is actually part of the Arizona real estate purchase contract. So you need this to be compliant with the purchase contract. So what happens is, you're from California, you're from Illinois, you're from back east, and you got a lender that's back there. They don't have access to these forms. They can get access to these forms, but often they don't know where to get them, how to fill them out. Often their companies won't allow them to fill them out. We've seen that plenty of times as well. So in a market that is as hot, if you will, as Arizona, let me put this in perspective for you, right? Everybody's moving here. Everyone is leaving their state and coming here. And what that has done is driving prices up and driving the aggressiveness of our market, right? So we have less than 2 months of inventory. So I think last month, in December, there was 7,300 roughly properties that were sold, 7,700 properties that were sold, and we have less than 14,000 properties on the market. Think about that, right? 1.7, 1.8 months of inventory, that's crazy. So if you're coming from one of those other areas, or you're a buyer that hasn't bought a home in over 10 years and you're just not acclimated to how these forms and how Arizona works, the requirement of such forms, this is for you. You need to find a lender that has these forms, fills out these forms, gets these forms over to your agent that's representing you, right? That's helping you buy the home. Because if there's 2, 3, 4, 5 other offers on the property and they don't get one of these from you or your lender, they're probably not going to accept your offer, right? So the strength of your offer becomes a huge deal. So, and it's not just, we're offering full price. Well, so are the other 3 people, right? And the other 3 people probably have these forms that are sitting in the listing agent's inbox. So this becomes a huge deal. We're seeing a lot of these issues come up now where, people, like I said, people are moving here from out of state, or people that haven't bought a home in 18 years and they're upsizing, downsizing, and they're, hey, I got a lender back in Connecticut, I got a lender in California, and we want to use them. And it's like, well, okay, you can, but you may be behind the 8 ball, as they say that. You may be dealing with a lender that doesn't have access, doesn't want to fill one of these out, showing difficulties in getting one of these from your lender, because without this, right, and the other offers on the table have these, where does that put you as a buyer, right? Behind the 8 ball, not a very strong offer. So look, I'm not saying that you can't get an offer accepted without one of these. Depends on what part of the valley, right? Scottsdale, Gilbert versus Avondale, Glendale, right? All of that comes into play. But even if you get an offer accepted without one of these, they're still going to be asking you for one at one point to make their file compliant, because as a real estate agent, they need one of these in the file. Most of the brokers that the agents work for won't pay them their commission until they have this. And believe it or not, there's another form, I should have printed that one out too, called the LSU, the Loan Status Update, that if you don't supply one of those within 5 days of acceptance, you're now out of breach, or you're in breach, you're out of compliance with the purchase contract. And guess what? It says it right in the purchase contract. If you read the purchase contract, you need one of those forms. You need this form and that other form. So it's more than just getting a pre-approval letter. Like I said, in the state of Arizona, a pre-approval letter really doesn't mean anything. A little chilly out here this morning in Arizona, believe it or not. So know that folks that have not bought a home in, let's say, the last 10 years, folks that are moving here from out of state that want to buy a home here, we do things differently with these forms. And if you are using a lender that's from out of state that doesn't get on board with these forms, you're doing yourself a disservice, an injustice. And it may be very difficult for you to get your offer accepted, because every other offer that's coming in, because there's probably going to be multiple offers on that same property, right? That's how this is working. A property at $300,000, at $340,000 in Gilbert, that gets listed on the market on Thursday, by the end of the weekend, they probably have 6 or 7 offers, maybe 8 offers on that property. Which one are they going to take? I bet you they take one that has their ducks in a row, that has these forms, which means they're probably using a local lender. Some of the big banks, check this out, some of the big banks, the B of A's, the US banks, the Chases, the Wells Fargos, they have difficulty getting these forms from those institutions. So when a listing agent presents the offers to the seller and says, well, here's one from an out-of-state lender, here's one from Bank of America, and here's 2 from local direct lenders, I bet you the offer that gets accepted, if they're all, let's say they're all, the same offer price, is going to be one of the local direct lenders. Keep that in mind. Most agents will 100% agree with what I'm saying, and they're facing these issues, and it puts them in a difficult and an awkward situation, because they want your business, right? But when you say, well, I want to use Johnny from upstate Illinois or in Chicago for my lender, and Johnny from Chicago has no idea what these lenders are, and then Johnny's employer that he works for in Chicago says they don't feel comfortable filling these out, now what? Right? Now what? You put yourself in kind of an awkward situation. Keep that in mind. If you have any questions or concerns about this, 602-757-2171. It's Friday Coffee with your mortgage man, Eric. And it's chilly.